You think you're choosing your life. You're not. Most of what you call personality is just damage with good manners. It is a survival script running in the background, deciding when you speak, when you stay quiet, when you apologize, when you chase, when you fold. You call it being nice. You call it being nice. You call it being loyal. You call it being the bigger person. But in the real world, you are being trained. You are being shaped. You are being handled. Look at your work life. A manager talks over you in a meeting. You feel the heat in your face. You laugh it off. You add extra words to sound calm. You over-explain your idea so nobody feels threatened. You say, "Maybe I am wrong," before anyone even challenges you. Later, you replay the moment in your head like a prisoner tapping on a wall. You tell yourself you are a professional. Reality is simpler. You accepted their frame. You stepped into their court. You handed them authority. You were being evaluated instead of evaluating. Look at your relationships. Someone tests you with a cold comment. You feel the sting and rush to prove you are good, safe, and loyal. You send the long message. You write paragraphs. You justify your tone. You ask what they meant. You ask if you are okay. You think you are communicating. Reality is simpler. You are begging for approval while pretending it is love. You put your peace in their hands and then you call it a connection. Look at your friends and family. An uncle makes a small joke that cuts you to the quick. A friend forgets to invite you and then acts as if nothing happened. A sibling talks to you like you are still 12. You smile, swallow, and call it peace. You stay at the table so nobody calls you difficult. You stay small so you stay included. Reality is simpler. You were trained to be helpful, obedient, and agreeable. You were not qualified to be powerful. Carl Jung had a brutal way of saying it. When you do not face what is inside you, it does not disappear. It takes the wheel. It becomes your character. It becomes your type. It becomes your nature. You start calling your coping habits your identity. You start protecting the very thing that is controlling you. This is not comfort. This is not therapy. This is not a warm hug. This is a mirror held close to your face. I am going to give you 6 psychological reversals that change how you move in work, relationships, and social life. These shifts separate a man who is managed from a man who is respected. Most people will leave before the truth lands because they want explanations, not reality. They want relief, not authority. If you go, nothing changes. You stay controlled. If you stay, you separate from the herd. Put your phone face down and listen. If this hits you, write "I am the strategist" once in the comments to mark the day your mindset changed. Unhealed trauma does not just hurt you, it recruits you. It turns you into a predictable machine. Predictable men are easy to control. One reality you must face is that what you call openness is often just leaking. You think sharing earns trust. In fact, uncontrolled sharing earns evaluation. You know the scene. You meet someone new at work or in a social setting. The conversation turns personal. They ask about your past. You feel the pull to confess. You tell them about the struggle. You add the detail that makes you look humble. You think this makes you human. It gives them a map of your pressure points. Now they know where to push. Now they know how to label you. Now they know which story you will keep repeating when you feel unsafe. You do the same thing in romance. A woman asks, "Why are you like this?" You dump your history on the table like a peace offering. You think your pain will buy softness. You believe your honesty will purchase loyalty. Reality is cleaner. You just handed her a script for how to handle you. She now knows which buttons create guilt. She now knows which words make you over-explain. She can test you with one sentence and watch you perform. Common behavior creates weakness by handing over data without demanding standards. You give away the core of yourself to buy a little comfort. It feels good because your nervous system thinks, "If I am understood, I am safe." That is trauma talking. That is the old survival brain trying to earn shelter. But the world is not a shelter. The world is a market. Everything you reveal becomes a price tag. People decide what you are worth. They decide how much effort you deserve. They decide how much respect you get before you even earn it. Jung used the words persona and shadow because he saw the split. The persona is the mask you use to be accepted. The shadow is what you hide because it was punished, mocked, or rejected. When you start leaking personal pain to strangers, you are not integrating the shadow. You are trying to force acceptance of the mask. You want someone to bless your story so you can relax. But relaxing inside someone else's approval is not freedom. It is the dependency. So the reversal is not secrecy. The reversal is deliberate. You stop performing openness. You start practicing control. You speak in clean lines. You do not confess to being liked. You do not explain to be safe. You decide what is earned. You determine what is private. You become the one who evaluates, not the one being assessed. When someone probes too fast, you do not defend. You do not give a speech. You gravidia, calm boundary. I keep my personal life personal. Then you move the conversation. Weak people get offended. Respectful people back off. Either way, you stay in authority. Another reality is silence. Most men fear silence because silence feels like abandonment. Trauma makes silence feel dangerous, so you fill it. You talk, you joke, you text again, you chase the response. You give extra attention to stop the uncertainty. Every time you do that, you hand them control. A woman pulls back for a day. Your chest tightens. You send the "hey, are we good" message. Then you send another. You add a smiley face to reduce tension. You offer reassurance you were not asked to give. You tell yourself you are being mature. What you are doing is simple. You accepted their frame. You stepped into their court. You handed them authority. You put your emotional state under their management. At work, it looks different, but it is the same. A colleague questions your decision in a group chat with a bit of sarcasm. You respond immediately. You write a long defense. You paste screenshots. You try to be clear. You think clarity is power. But when you react fast, you communicate fear. You communicate that their opinion has the power to move you. Then you spend the whole day thinking about them while they forget you exist. The control belongs to them, not to you. The moral inversion is uncomfortable. Silence feels cold, so you avoid it. But silence is often the most effective form of control. It is not the silent treatment. It is not sulking. It is not punishment. It is silence as a refusal to dance on command. It is a pause that forces the other person to sit with their own move. It is a signal that you do not need real-time approval. Jung's authority cuts here. What you cannot tolerate in yourself, you project onto others. If you cannot tolerate uncertainty, you will chase certainty from other people. You will beg for signs. You will demand reassurance disguised as communication. That is not a connection. That is dependency. Dependency is always punished in the end, even by people who claim they want closeness. So the shift is a private center. When the pull to chase appears, you do nothing. You breathe. You let the space exist. You let the other person choose their own seat. You do not chase their mood. You do not explain your value. If they want access, they approach with respect. If they wish to control, they will test you with distance. You do not fail the test by reacting. You pass the test by staying steady. Silence makes people reveal themselves. Words let them hide. Then you see the approval trap. Trauma turns approval into oxygen. When you grew up with unstable love, you learned to earn it. You learned to read faces. You learned to adjust your tone. You learned to be good. The adult version looks polite, but it is still an act of obedience. It is obedience that learned to smile. A friend makes plans without you, then invites you at the last minute, like an afterthought. You say yes immediately. You show up early. You bring energy to prove you belong. You tell yourself you are easygoing. What you are actually doing is paying to be tolerated. You are buying a seat at a table that does not respect you. You are teaching them that your time is cheap. Your family does it too. Someone calls you only when they need something. They wrap it in love. You are the only one I can count on. You feel proud, then you feel trapped. You say yes because you want the title of dependable. You take the burden because you fear the guilt. You think you are being a good man. Reality is simpler. You are being used. You accepted their frame that your worth is service. At work, you take on extra tasks without being asked. You answer emails fast. You say yes to deadlines that are not yours. Being useful makes you valuable. It makes you manageable. Useful men become tools. Tools do not get respect, they get used. Then, when you finally ask for more pay or more authority, you get the same smile you gave them. We appreciate you. Appreciation is cheap when you are the one paying in years. The moral inversion is this: being liked feels safe, so you chase it. But being liked is not the same as being valued. Liked men are entertainment. Valued men are scarce. Valued men have standards. Valued men can say no without explaining. They do not beg to be included. They are invited because people know access is not automatic. Jung would describe this as an unconscious complex, a hidden knot of memory and emotion that takes over your behavior. When approval is your complex, you are not acting. You are reacting. You are not choosing. You are being triggered. Triggered men cannot hold authority because they are constantly negotiating their worth in front of an audience that does not care. So you reverse it. You stop asking to be included. You start selecting where you invest. You do not say yes to last-minute crumbs. You do not overgive to earn a place. You let absence speak. Distance creates authority because it creates uncertainty in other people's minds. Scarcity creates value because it forces people to decide if access to you is worth the effort. When you are always available, nobody has to respect you. When you are not, they have to. Now you hit the real battlefield, where frames decide outcomes and outcomes decide status. Unhealed trauma makes you either avoid conflict or explode in it. Both positions are weak. Avoidance makes you invisible. Explosions make you unstable. The powerful position is control. You do not avoid conflict. You do not chase it. You manage it. Your partner says you never do enough. It is vague. It is a test. If you defend, you lose. If you apologize fast, you lose. You start listing what you do. You start arguing facts. You think facts will save you. They will not, because you accepted their frame of reference. You stepped into their court. You handed them authority. You let them define the scoreboard. Now you are a performer, begging for a grade. A coworker says, "People are saying you are difficult." It is vague. It is designed to make you explain. You ask, "Who said that?" They say, "I do not want to name names." Your nervous system panics. You start proving you are not difficult. You start being extra nice. You start working harder. You just got managed. You were being evaluated instead of evaluating, and you did it to yourself. Even friends do it. A friend jokes, "Bro, you have changed." The message is not a joke. It is a leash. It means, come back to the version of you that served me. If you defend, you lose. If you explain, you lose. If you explain, you lose. If you laugh nervously, you lose. The frame is simple. You are on trial for evolving. The moral inversion is painful. Defending yourself feels righteous. It feels mature. It feels fair. But in power dynamics, defending too much is an admission that you accept their judgment. A man with authority does not panic when evaluated. He evaluates back. He makes the other person carry their own words. Jung would call this a projection game. People throw their discomfort onto you and see if you will carry it. They throw guilt, shame, and vague accusations like wet clothes. If you pick them up, you confirm their story. If you refuse them, the discomfort returns to them where it belongs. Most people cannot tolerate carrying their own discomfort. That is why they try to hand it to you. So you refuse vague frames. You respond with precision. You say, "Define enough." What exactly do you want? You say, "When did I act difficult?" Give one example. You say, "What do you mean by changed?" Be specific. You do not argue their emotions. You do not rush to soothe. You force clarity. Clarity is control. Vague accusations are tools of domination. Precision destroys those tools. If they cannot be precise, you do not keep discussing. You end it calmly. You say, if you cannot be specific, we are not continuing this. Then you stop feeding the argument. You step out of their court. You take authority back. Then comes the identity trap. Trauma makes you attached to a role. You become the nice guy, the reliable one, the funny one, and the strong G, silent one. The role becomes your cage. You keep doing it because you fear what will happen if you stop. People might not like you. People might leave. You might face the part of you that is angry, selfish, ambitious, or cold. That part is your shadow. If you do not own it, other people will use it against you. You can see it at work. Your boss praises you in public, but blocks your promotion in private. You keep smiling because you are loyal. You keep being the team player. Inside, you feel resentment. It leaks out as sarcasm, fatigue, and passive resistance. You tell yourself you are just tired. You are not exhausted. You are split. Your persona is smiling. Your shadow is furious. When you are separated, you are readable. People sense the fracture. They know you are not stable. They manage you with praise, guilt, and little rewards that keep you hoping. You can see it in romance. You present as chill. You pretend you do not care. You act relaxed because you fear needing, but you do care. You are afraid of caring because caring gives someone power. So you act detached. Then you snap when you feel disrespected, or you disappear and come back, hoping the distance will reset the dynamic. You become split again, and you become readable again. A man who cannot admit what he wants can be controlled by confusion. The moral inversion is this: pretending to be pure is weak. Pretending to be harmless is weak. Power comes from integration, not from pretending. Integration means you admit what is inside you, and you put it under command. You do not become cruel. You become coherent. Coherence is dominant because it makes you move. Jung's lens is direct. The shadow does not become good because you ignore it. It becomes dangerous. It comes out sideways. It becomes sabotage. It becomes self-hate. It becomes an addiction. It becomes desperate approval-seeking. It becomes a secret hunger for revenge. Unhealed trauma does not just hurt you. It makes you betray yourself to stay safe. And then it makes you hate yourself for betraying yourself. That loop is how men lose their spine. So you own your darker capacities without acting proud about them. You accept that you can be cold. You acknowledge that you can walk away. You acknowledge that you can disappoint people. You accept that you can be the villain in someone's story. Then you choose your actions from strength, not fear. A man who can leave is hard to control. A man who needs to be seen as good is easy to manipulate. He will do anything to protect his image, even when the image is killing him. Finally, you face attention. Trauma makes you seek constant feedback. You crave likes, replies, signs, and reassurance. You refresh, you check, you read between the lines. You let other people's attention decide your mood. That is slavery with a modern interface. You post something and you wait. You check views, you check messages, you check who reacted. You feel a spike when numbers rise. You feel empty when they do not. You tell yourself it is normal. It is not normal. It is training. Attention is currency. When you depend on it, you can buy it cheaply. People can control you with a tiny reward and a tiny withdrawal. In a relationship, it shows as monitoring. You watch who they follow. You track how fast they reply. You interpret emojis like a lawyer. You ask questions that are really accusations. You think you are being careful. You are being controlled by uncertainty again. You are giving your focus away. Focus is your real power. Whoever owns your focus owns your day. Whoever owns your day owns your life. The moral inversion is this: constant connection feels loving, so you chase it, but constant connection kills authority. A man with authority is not always available. He is not always reacting. He is not always watching. He has a life that does not revolve around being chosen. He chooses. That is the difference. Jung would say the psyche demands wholeness. If you do not have a center, you borrow one from the crowd. The crowd will always demand more. The crowd does not love you. The crowd consumes you. The more you feed it, the more it owns you. So you deliberately withdraw your attention. You do not announce it. You do not threaten. You do not post a dramatic message about peace. You stop feeding the machine. You stop checking. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You decide what deserves your focus. When you control your attention, you control your emotions. When you control your emotions, you control your decisions. When you control your choices, you stop being predictable. Now, the part most men hate is the sensation of withdrawal. These reversals do not feel good at first. They think wrong because your nervous system was trained for survival, not dominance. Your body learned that pleasing kept you safe. Your body learned that explaining reduced danger. Your body learned that chasing prevented loss. So when you stop doing those things, you feel exposed. You feel like you're about to be punished. That is the trauma memory speaking. That is the old environment still living inside you. This is why unhealed trauma rewrites your entire personality. It confuses the past with the present. It makes you act like every boss is your parent. It makes you act like every partner is the person who abandoned you. It makes you act like every friend group is the schoolyard where you had to earn a place. You move through adult life with a child's strategy. And then you wonder why you are constantly anxious, constantly tired, always performing. You are not living. You are managing danger that is not even here. Jung did not offer comfort for this. He provided a warning. What stays unconscious becomes fate. In plain language, what you refuse to face will run your life, and you will call it your personality. You will say, I am just anxious. You will say, I am just loyal. You will say, I am just a people person. No, you are controlled. You are regulated by the parts of you that never healed, never matured, and never got a seat at the table, so they hijack the whole table. Watch how the world treats controlled men. They are socially invisible unless they are helpful. They are invited when someone needs a favor. They are called when someone needs emotional support. They are praised in public, then dismissed in private. They become the reliable background noise of other people's lives. They are tolerated, not valued. You might think you are safe there. You are not secure. You are managed. The moment you stop producing, attention disappears. The moment you say no, guilt appears. The moment you ask for fairness, accusations appear. The moment you set a boundary, people call you dramatic. This is not cruelty. This is not a game. This is realism. People follow incentives. People test boundaries. People take what is available. If you are always available, you will be taken. Then you wonder why you feel invisible. You wonder why nobody checks on you. You wonder why your kindness does not return to you. It is because kindness without authority is not respected. It is consumed. The world does not reward the man who collapses for peace. It rewards the man who holds a frame. And do not miss the deeper cost. When you live on approval, you start lying without words. You smile when you dislike someone. You agree when you want to refuse. You say, it is fine, when it is not fine. That is not kindness. That is self-betrayal. Self-betrayal makes your eyes dull. People feel it. They do not trust you because you do not even trust yourself. You think you are being liked. You are being tolerated. Now watch the contrast. Silence creates fear because it removes certainty. Distance creates authority because it forces respect. Scarcity creates value by making access a privilege rather than a right. This is not manipulation when it is honest. It is not a trick. It is refusing to overgive to people who did not earn it. It refuses to react for people who want control. When you stop leaking your inner world, you stop being easy to read. When you stop reacting fast, you stop being easy to steer. When you stop chasing approval, you stop being easy to buy. When you demand precision in conflict, you stop being easy to shame. When you integrate the shadow, you stop being easy to split. When you control attention, you stop being easy to distract. This is what psychological superiority looks like. It is not louder or meaner. It is cleaner and more demanding to move. This shows up in simple moments. At work, you do not rush to defend. You pause. You ask for specifics. You keep conversations in clean lanes. You do not gossip for belonging. You do not complain about bonding. You speak less, but every sentence lands. People begin to watch you, not because you are loud, but because you are stable. Stability is rare. Stability is a kind of dominance. In relationships, you do not negotiate your worth. You do not write essays to be understood. You do not trace moods. You state standards. You give warmth when it is earned. You give distance when it is required. You are not cruel. You are not needy. You are clear. Clarity is authority. People relax around clarity because it ends the guessing, even when they pretend they hate it. In family dynamics, you stop being the fixer. You stop being the emotional trash can. You stop absorbing everyone's stress to prove you are strong. You listen, you decide, and you refuse guilt. If someone tries to pull you into drama, you do not argue, you do not explain, you do not beg them to be fair. You refuse the frame. You say, "I am not taking that." Then you go quiet. Then you go back to your life. That is power. In social life, you stop paying for your seat. You stop being the entertainer. You stop being the therapist. You stop being the emergency contact for people who never show up for you. You choose your circle like a strategist, not like a starving man begging for scraps. You stop giving loyalty for free. Loyalty is expensive, so you stop spending it on strangers. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Some people will call you cold when you stop being easy. Some people will call you arrogant when you stop explaining. Some people will call you selfish when you stop overgiving. Those labels are not diagnoses. They are withdrawal symptoms. They are the sound of people losing access. The moment you hear those words, you will feel the old pull to fix the story. Do not do it. The story is not your job. Your frame is your job. This is where most men fold. They hear the label, and they rush to prove they are good. They rush to fix the misunderstanding. They rush to be understood. That is the old script. That is the trauma of trying to avoid punishment. Your body thinks, if they are upset, I am in danger. That is the child talking. The adult stays calm. The adult holds the line. The adult lets consequences exist. Jung's name matters here because he did not flatter men into weakness. He saw that the psyche has a hunger for wholeness, and wholeness is not polite. Wholeness includes aggression. It includes ambition. It consists of the ability to say no without guilt. It consists of the ability to walk away without drama. If you refuse those parts, you do not become good. You become controlled. You become a puppet with a clean shirt. And yes, for the men who think this is just psychology, Machiavelli would smile at how simple it is. Whoever controls the frame controls the outcome. But you do not need to study him. You need to stop entering other people's courts. So here is your real-world challenge. For the next 7 days, do not explain yourself to anyone who did not ask with respect. Do not defend against vague accusations. Do not chase a delayed reply. Do not volunteer personal pain to buy closeness. Do not say yes to last-minute crumbs. Replace reaction with pause. Replace leakage with control. Replace approval with standards. Watch who gets upset. Watch who adapts. You will learn more in 1 week of silence than in a year of talking. If you want more of this realism, you already know what to do. Like the video if you can handle the truth without flinching. Share it with the one man you know who is being managed by everyone around him. Subscribe if you want your feed to sharpen you rather than soften you. If this hit you right, I am the strategist once in the comments to mark the day your mindset changed. Now close this video and move like a man who does not beg for permission. Speak less. Choose more. Hold your frame. Let the world adjust to you.